And it's working. All right, we're gonna start streaming. Ready to go? Let's go. We're doing it. Ready?
I'm
Streaming
ready.
now. And it won't let me stream, but it's okay. I think we can record. That's fine. We're recording. That's all that matters. Okay. We're just not streaming. All right. Here we go. One, two, three. Hit it, boys. Okay, that's from the. Okay, welcome everyone to Going the Distance, the Rocky Series podcast. Boy, it has been 4 months plus since we've done an episode because Ryan, myself, was sailing with the Canadian Navy to the waters of the South China Sea and all the surrounding countries, making our world a better and safer place. And I'm back home safe and sound. And we're ready basically to roll right into Creed 2, episode 10. But before we do, we got a little bit of housekeeping to do. First, I want to say, Kyle, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Um, just dealing with the kiddos right now, but otherwise I'm fine. I wasn't fighting North Koreans or the Chinese, so uh,
I missed
can't
you.
say I could compare to you.
I missed you. I missed you.
Same here, man. I missed recording. I missed
Yeah.
your antics.
Me antics. Come on now. Uh, Kind of a news update here. Katie has been fired from the show. She's a horrible reader of emails, and she put on 50 pounds. We can't have that on our podcast anymore. So, just kidding. Katie's on vacation. We love her and miss her, and she gave her blessing because Kyle's given it to her to do episodes with in his absence. So we're just doing one in her absence. And for those who are wondering, yes, Katie, Kyle, and Ryan are going to share their thoughts and review Rocky vs. Drago, the Ultimate Director's Cut. We're not going to give our thoughts on it all right now because we are going to save it for that episode, which will be released after this one. Upcoming episodes after this one, so stay tuned, is an interview with Derek Wayne Johnson on his editing of the documentary Behind the Scenes that's on YouTube. Also, there will be an episode on that documentary with yours truly, myself, with Doug from Rocky Minute and Craig from Slycast. We'll be discussing that documentary. And then after those two episodes will be the Rocky versus Drago episode with Ryan, Katie, and Kyle together. And then we'll roll into Creed 2 episode 11. And lastly, yes, we are going to finish Creed 2, the movie, the whole Rocky franchise, in a matter of probably 2 months. I can see us ending it probably within 2 months. And we might be able to get some Rambo episodes before I go sailing again in 2023. Yes, unfortunately, it's official. I am sailing again, deployed in 2022. Sorry. So I'll be gone for half the year as well. So my goal is to definitely finish the Rocky franchise, tease some Rambo stuff before I leave so people can come on board for that podcast. And last thing, we have a guest host because what we're doing is before I introduce the guest host, let me just tell you, we had some technical difficulties behind the
Brian,
scenes.
sorry, can I interrupt you
Yeah,
for a second?
of course.
I just wanted to clarify something. Katie did not gain 50 pounds. It was more like 75.
Oh, jeez. She's.
I just want to clarify that.
I don't think she's ever coming back. Well, if she wasn't single before, she is still okay. No, we love her so much. Boy, if she was here, I miss her laughter. Um, Lastly, yeah, we're in Discord, and this is really exciting. We actually have somebody in our Discord channel, but before I introduce them, I want to say this is what we're going to do with Discord. I really want to encourage all of our listeners come join the Discord channel because what this will do is you can join us not live with the chat, meaning like you're not going to come on the episode and talk like our guest host is about to do, but I'll explain why he's here. But you'll get to actually watch the recordings live as they happen, and you can chat, like text chat while the conversation is happening, watch the movie as we're watching it, all that stuff. And you can say, hey, did you guys miss that scene where XYZ happened? You can actually input your thoughts and stuff into the show. So in the link below of this episode is the Discord channel. And you'll also see all the other podcasts that are part of the Last of the Action Heroes podcast network in this Discord. It's Kyle's first time in Discord. It's a bit of a learning curve, but it's not actually that hard. Once you understand, it's like most social networks. You just click on the channel that you want to participate in and start chatting. That's all it is. So follow the links below, and you can join us. And I will announce it on the Facebook page and Twitter and on Patreon when we go live, so you can join us live. Okay, so that's what happened today. So Louise, who's been on our show a couple times as a guest, he was in the Discord. And because Katie's not here, I'm like, Louise, if you're up to it, do you want to just hang out and talk a few minutes about Creed 2? And he agreed. So Louise, say hi to the folks.
Hello, everybody, and it's always an honor and a pleasure to join you, gentlemen, on this fine podcast.
Yeah, he's too kind. He's he calls our podcast fine. Uh, we appreciate that. We appreciate it. So, don't tell us any kind of review, but Louise, did you see the Rocky versus Drago, and did you enjoy it? Yes or no? Oh, you're muted right now, but you're unmute yourself.
Sorry about that.
Oh, it's
I've seen portions of it. I didn't watch the entire thing. I watched some of the beginning, and then I caught some of the live stream that you were watching. Um, so no, I don't really get the whole like what he was actually trying to do because I was watching it, and it just seemed like the end of the Drago fight. Oh, I guess we shouldn't talk about.
well, no. Well, you can give me one thing. Give me one thing that. How about this? Give me one thing that you wish he maybe didn't shouldn't have done. Give me one thing that you think.
He shouldn't have done.
Yeah, sure. Or that you like that he did. Even what? Give me one point.
Mm. Well, I do like. It looks like there's different camera angles of the same shots that we saw before, so that does give a different perspective. You know, spectator view instead of just okay, we're watching the movie. This from the other angle makes it look like you're in the crowd watching it. Like, okay, Rocky's coming back. He's gonna do it. You know. So I need to go check it out the whole thing honestly. But anything that Sly puts out, automatic. You have interest in it.
Yeah,
So
of course. Speaking of things that Sly puts out, this is a little bit of Sly news. Of course, a lot has come out in the last 4 months since I left, and I'm not really saying anything that people haven't heard or already know about because they're not in a cave. But Kyle, did you know that Sly's coming out with a TV show?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I was unaware of that.
a
I have
TV
not
show.
been keeping up on the Sly news at all.
Okay, well, this is
Like, what is it? What is it about?
well, this is really cool. Remember, I've mentioned before on the show where Sly really needs to play like a real mafia guy, like not a Oscar type thing, but a mafia guy, like a bad guy.
Hmm.
So the show Yellowstone that I keep plugging all the time. How much I love Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Well, the same creator of Yellowstone is doing a TV show with Sly.
Oh. You know what? When you said he has a TV show, I was thinking something almost like a talk show or something like
Oh, my
that. I'm
apologies.
like, no, that's my bad. That's how I happen to interpret it. But so is he gonna be a mafia guy
Yeah, he's
then?
gonna
Is
be.
that what's
He's gonna be.
happening?
I don't know much about it, but he's a mafia boss that moves. The show's called Kansas City, so the premise is he's a mafia boss. I don't even know what year, like if it's old time, this time, current time, but he moves to Kansas City for whatever reason to maybe escape something that he's escaping or change his identity. But it's called Kansas City. It's from the same creator of Boardwalk Empire and the Yellowstone series. So that's a pretty good resume of creators right there. So you know he's going to the hands of good writers. And yeah, thoughts?
that sounds awesome.
That
Yeah,
sounds really good.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd for sure watch that.
So
So
it's
is that
perfect.
where's that?
I don't know what
Is that streaming?
yeah, it'd be streaming. It'd probably be limited series, like season one will be 8 episodes, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, that's cool.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
legit
always
excited.
best cast as like a okay, I shouldn't say he's always best cast as a bad guy, but prior to I think Rocky, he was often cast as like a bad guy, like a thug or something like that.
Yeah,
Like I think that kind of comes like to me that seems like it comes naturally to him. Although he does obviously an excellent job as a good guy as Rocky too, and even a troubled guy in Rambo. So
yeah.
yeah,
It'll be
pretty
interesting to
versatile.
see if he will be like a Sopranos type, or Tony Soprano. Though he was quote unquote a bad guy, he was a likable person in the sense of like you rooted for Tony despite his behavior, so to speak. So I wonder
Yeah.
if Sly will tackle that kind of. I'm sure he will. Again, if you watch Yellowstone, Kevin Costner is the main actor in Yellowstone, and he plays a bad guy in the sense that he is not a good person, but in his own moral code, he is a good person. You root for him even though he breaks the law. So I'm hoping that Sly will follow that same type of. I would like to see him tackle that part of his acting skills.
Yeah, I agree. Like if he was a straight up legit like evil character, that would be probably hard for a lot of people who especially are Sly fans to stomach. But yeah, I
But
agree. Like if he was if he's a mafia guy that like he kills people, he does this and that, which is fine in like the mafia code, but like to him, he has a line that he doesn't cross.
Yeah.
Or maybe he starts to question things that are being done or something like that. Like
Or yeah, he bugs the
I can
system. Yeah,
easily
like
see
he
him.
fight he
Yeah.
or he kind of rebels against the mafia world and so he becomes like a lone wolf against her. Who knows? It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be good. It's gonna channel part of Sly. Think about it, he's 75 years old and he gets a TV deal. This is amazing.
Well, this is a great transition for him, actually. Like, I never thought of this, but him as a mob guy, because like there's lots of the mob guys are like old guys, right?
That's right.
Like, and so, and he's Italian. He's an older guy. I think he could do the acting for it well.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be a very believable mob guy, in my opinion.
And I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm gonna do a podcast on that series. That'll be pretty easy because it'll be like I'll just do like one episode per episode. You know what I mean? So that'd be fun to do. Okay. Well, we don't have any mail. We don't have any new reviews, but if you want to send us an email, gtdwithrr@gmail.com. You can also join our Patreon. Again, I can't stress enough to join our Discord, join our Twitter, join our Facebook. I'll give all those links below in a description in the episode of this. And don't forget to check out the other shows on the Last of the Action Heroes podcast network. We've got Slycast, we've got Rocky Minute, we've got Where There's a Will, So There's a Way. We've got a Schwarzenegger called 6 Degrees of Schwarzenegger. We got a new Van Damme podcast. We've got Steven Seagal, Hard for Justice. We've got James Bond. And I kid you not, we've got a Mel Gibson podcast joining the series.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, we got Mel Gibson, our favorite fake German, Seiko, who hate listens to our podcast, will be creating his own, and I've allowed him to come onto the network, and he is going to be doing a Mel Gibson podcast called Hugging the Cactus. I believe that's what it's called. Does anyone know what that means, Hugging the Cactus? All right, I'll let him explain.
No, is that...
Yeah, it refers to. Well, I'll let you Google it. Just let people Google it because it's pretty cool. Robert Downey Jr. Introduces or speaks about Mel Gibson at an award show. I think Mel Gibson gave Robert Downey Jr. an award at some sort of AFI or something like that award show, and Robert Downey Jr. pleads for the Hollywood people to give Mel Gibson a break. And he refers to it as Hugging the Cactus. So it's a really cool speech by Robert Downey Jr. So it's going to be, I believe it's called Hugging the Cactus, the Mel Gibson podcast. So I'm looking forward to guesting on that. I will be covering with Seiko. I'll be covering the Mad Max films. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, well, here we go. Well, let's roll right into it. Last time we left off a little while ago, but if you're a new listener, thank you for joining the show because a lot of new listeners joined the show while I was gone, and they've been waiting for this new episode. So here we go, episode 10. I believe it's 10. We just finished the scene where Adonis and Bianca were saying, "Oh, I hope the baby isn't deaf and dumb like the mom," and that was their big hope. And now the next scene is Adonis driving up to the Delphi gym, and let's watch that and listen to that right now.
I need changes in a major way. I just hope I never.
People gonna be all over this fight. They got a lot of bad history, man. Everything. Your dad.
And yours too. Don't forget that he trained him.
All right, so we have Tony Jr. Talking to Adonis. Of course, Tony Jr. is basically saying, there's going to be a lot of history here. There's a lot of history. And this is a little bit of exposition, of course, for people who probably only saw Creed Part 1 who are now seeing Creed Part 2. Because there's still quite a bit of people who love and enjoy the Creed films who haven't gone back and watched the Rocky films. So this is a little bit of exposition saying, hey, Adonis's dad, Drago, Victor's father,
Apollo.
Killed Apollo, and your dad was Apollo's trainer. So that's a little bit of exposition there for those people to kind of previously on Rocky 4.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a subtle but not so subtle way of reminding the audience.
Right. I think there's probably people who are even casual fans of Rocky series like, oh, that's Tony Duke's son, and because it was a little confusing in Creed Part 1. This
It was.
Yeah, they didn't really make it clear this was Tony Duke's son. They make it very clear in Part 2 this is Tony's son. Any thoughts there, Louise, before we move on to the next part? You don't have to have one for every single part, but if you have something, to feel free.
Well, the only thing when I first watched this movie, I thought like the tone for Wood Harris is totally different than the first movie. In the first movie, he seemed just confrontational for no good reason. I know he's like trying to protect them in his eyes, but it just seemed just antagonized for antagonist's sake.
Yeah.
But in this movie, it seems a little too neutered. You know, I don't know. He doesn't seem enough. I don't know. I guess we'll get into
And
that.
Adonis just knocked out his boy too.
Right.
Good point.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, Louise.
Ah.
It's weird how he's more. Maybe he just wants a job. He's more willing to work with Adonis that he's the champ now. Who knows?
Yeah, I think he finally had to accept Adonis for who he was. Like Adonis has proven himself to him now. I still don't know why Adonis comes to him. Like if I were Adonis, I'd be kind of pissed off at him that you don't really have that scene. Like Mickey rejected Rocky at first, and then they have that powerful scene, and then but there's nothing like that here. He rejects Creed, and then all of a sudden they're cool again. And there you go.
Yeah, it does seem maybe something happened between films where they buried the hatchet, but it's just not filmed, and we just assumed everything's good to go now. So yeah. All right, let's keep going.
I know why you didn't train me before.
Oh, he explains it.
I wasn't ready.
Oh.
You was ready.
Yeah, but this is different. Drago's kid. Big. Fast. Strong. Unorthodox. It's a monster, boy. It's a balanced breakfast over there. Think you ready for all that?
Okay, so at the beginning, Adonis says, we get it right away. I know why you didn't train me before. I wasn't ready. What are your thoughts on that little exposition?
I think that's crap. I because it's like I wasn't ready. Like I agree he wasn't ready for the championship fight, but that wasn't on the table at that point. He just wanted to start fighting pro, like presumably fighting lower level pro fights and working his way up. So he would have been ready for that. Like the whole argument they had prior was that Adonis didn't need to fight because he had been given opportunities that the other fighters hadn't. Right? And that's totally ignored here. Like it's not addressed at all.
I love how he
and
says,
also I find
oh, sorry, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I find it funny too because it's like Wheeler just got knocked out, but it's like often champions' careers are not over if they lose their fight. Like I'm surprised he's not trailing Wheeler anymore, or maybe like
he dumped that bum.
Yeah.
What I also like is how Adonis is basically saying, I know why you didn't train me before. I wasn't ready, so I got that old has-been Rocky to train me. Like what? Like like doesn't make sense. Luis?
Yeah, I think it's bullshit. It just like Kyle said, it doesn't add up. No, I just don't like it.
No, that's fine. Now, is Adonis wearing the cufflinks on his neck there?
They seem golden. Like, because Rocky's was like a silver color.
No, his was gold, was it not?
I don't remember it being gold. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I think you remember it maybe being silver because of the black and white flashback, maybe.
I don't know. That's something we're gonna have to look up.
Well, if we had people in our Discord channel, they could tell us in the comments right away. They could correct us. See, that's what we're getting at. You could say,
"Hey, I was gonna let it go because I didn't want to get a tangent on this because this has been bothering me since this movie came out." But yes, it is so ridiculous. There's tens of thousands of people that walk in the gyms every day just for the hope and dream to one day possibly become an amateur, get up amateur. But this guy clearly good enough to like be a pro a boxer, and this other trainer doesn't want anything to do with it. I get some of the personal reasons or whatever, but that he wasn't ready. No, that's just ridiculous. I mean, come on.
No, that's fair. I appreciate the rant. You're allowed to rant. So somebody have their speaker on. We're getting a bit of an echo. I apologize if we're
Oh, I think it might be. I'll just mute if I'm not
Yeah,
speaking.
yeah, that's fine. No, that's fine because I think we're just coming in hot. Okay, so the other part here, what they showed, which I liked, of course, our listeners didn't see, so I want to explain it there. While Tony Jr. is um, uh, talking about Victor Drago, they're showing him train. They're explaining, he's the full meal deal. He's the balanced breakfast. But he mentions that he's unorthodox. But they're showing these train sequences of him like lifting up weights with his knees up in the air, like he's lifting his body while holding weights between his knees. Of course, this guy is a beast in real life, like the actor who plays Victor. But what makes him unorthodox, Kyle?
Well, I haven't seen enough of his fighting. I don't remember like. I guess it's his style, unorthodox style. Um, like that. Basically, I think he's just. I think that's really hard when someone isn't fighting the way you expect them. Like for example, in karate, a lot of us are afraid of like if you spar with a white belt because you don't know what they're gonna do. Like they're really unpredictable.
Sure.
Like it's almost easier to spar with someone at a different level because they kind of think the way you think and do things the way you do. And Victor, I guess, is perhaps trying to fight in a different way. I'm surprised that what's his face, Tony's son, knows anything about his fighting style. Like most of
Right.
this guy's fights have been in like Ukraine and stuff like that. And I'm guessing now that the challenge has been issued, people have looked into him a bit. And it is the 21st century, so maybe there's YouTube videos or something of him fighting. But like, I would have preferred if he would have been like, we don't know anything about this guy. Kind of what Rocky said to Apollo in the dressing room. He says we could tell this guy's huge. We could tell that he can fight well. Like this guy is just a mystery. Like it would be better to see him fight a few fights and see what he's about and then fight him.
Yeah, yeah. It just struck me there listening to that he's unorthodox. Why? Because he's big and he's strong and he beats people up. Like unorthodox seems like he would fight in different ways that other boxers fight, but I didn't really see it in the other training. Louise?
Yeah, what's unorthodox is kind of Cal touched on this. Is like in today's day and age, you can't be an unknown because there's cameras everywhere. Everybody knows everything. Um, but yet they still try to pull that off here. Like, okay, yeah, he's somehow, even though we know about him, he's not making any money. Even though he's good enough to be the heavyweight champion of the world, which, by the way, is one of my other real big problems with this movie. He's a light heavyweight champion in Creed, or he's fighting for light heavyweight championship in Creed. Now all of a sudden, Wheeler's a heavyweight. He's a heavyweight. I mean, we know Drago is, but they don't explain that either. I wish there would have been at least something. Oh, he's getting older. It's harder to cut weight. Something, because in reality, like that's a big leap for any like real. I mean, any fight fan knows that it's hard to go up and down divisions. I mean, Floyd Mayweather is famous for like adding 1 or 2 pounds or removing 1 or 2 pounds to his fights to make it harder for the other guy to make the weight. So I wish, if you ask him on unorthodox, that's what's unorthodox to me. In terms of like Drago himself, he's a big dude, but that's what's unorthodox is the fact that he's known but unknown. Like, come on, I wish they would have, had a better resolution for that.
Oh, good point. And don't forget,
Well, we discussed that pretty heavily in our first Creed episode, and we I think came to the conclusion that it's basically this is a parallel universe or something, where he was previously there's no explanation for that heavyweight thing other than the fact that
and
they had to write in Drago's son.
he was 30 in Creed. Now he's 28. So I mean, like I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's the multiverse theory has to be applied here in order to understand Rocky or Creed in its entirety. But wait, to Louise's point though, like Michael B's bulked up a bit, I think, for this movie,
Sure.
but like he was a believable light heavyweight the last movie. Like I think that's why they made it light heavyweight. And so it is kind of messed up that he's fighting this guy who's like way bigger. Like it does actually seem, just looking at them, like a catchweight bout of like a light heavyweight against a heavyweight. Like they had there was like Muhammad Ali fought like I think it was like Bob Foster or someone who was a light heavyweight champion, and like it wasn't even close. Like that's a big difference in those divisions.
Yeah.
And I think it's like Tony's son here commenting how big and strong this guy is. It's like it's true, but in reality, it's because he is probably like 70 or 80 pounds heavier than this guy, or maybe not that much, but like 50 pounds.
He's a big boy. All right, let's continue the next part.
I gotta be. But if you ain't gonna do it for me, at least do it for them.
So, of course, he's just pointing to the picture of Apollo and Tony Sr. together. So, like, if you don't do it for me, do it for our dead daddies.
Think about it. Beat what they couldn't beat. Change the way they were remembered. This is our chance to rewrite history.
Okay, so let's talk about that. This is our chance to rewrite history. Change the way they were remembered. What does that mean? I mean,
I don't have a clue.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Honestly, I changed the way they were remembered because did Rocky not avenge Apollo already?
That was taken care of.
Right. Yeah, like so. I think Adonis here is just being his best salesman and just trying to like find any hook he can to get into this guy. Like he's using this guy's like fondness for Apollo and his father in order to convince him to do this fight. But if you really think about it, it's bullshit. Like there's like what he's saying makes no sense. I also want to comment because in the video, now people, the audio folks listening to the podcast won't see this, but as this conversation's happening, it's showing Victor training, and he's running so in some kind of like it's an urban setting, but it's very dilapidated. It's very ghetto. It looks way worse than like anywhere Rocky would have ever trained, even in like South Philly, and that reminds me almost of like Rocky 3 when it shows Rocky kind of living this life and like balling, and then Clubber's in this like shitty gym, but he's training real hard. Like it really, it's showing like the differences between these guys too. I think,
Yeah.
without actually saying it to you.
No, they're showing you that Adonis already as champion is kind of, let's say, soft, but he's already in his own head. He's not too sure. He's lost the support of Rocky. I should also mention that during that scene of him running, Yvonne Drago, or Drago Senior, is in a truck. It almost looks like he's about to run his son over in the truck. I'm a little bit. I don't understand the driving habits of Yvonne there. Well, his son has to keep shoulder checking. It's like my dad is like on my heels with the truck, scaring me a little bit. Did you catch that, Luis?
Well, his dad's trying to make him run faster. He's trying to push.
He does.
I guess he does. Yeah.
His dad, you see at the end, his dad pulls in front of him, and I think he's got to confront him. I imagine saying like, "Look, you're not performing well enough."
I think Kyle made a great point about the juxtaposition. I never even thought about that, but as you were saying that, it's like, yeah, it's absolutely right, man. About Rocky 3, like the Clubber Lang, Rocky parallel versus Drago here. The other thing too is I'm wondering if the dialogue between Adonis and Avon Barksdale. I'm sorry, I keep thinking that. It was man.
Oh, you're muted there. You're muted there, Luis. Try that again.
Sorry.
Yep.
Hello?
Yeah, I got you back.
Maybe there was some deleted scenes where there was perhaps some ESPN commentary. Oh, this, talking about Apollo and maybe the trainer, how the trainer didn't stop the fight, and maybe that's
Oh, you muted yourself again. You're left off on stop the fight.
Hello?
Yeah, you're back.
It could be some.
What's going on? Here we lost you again. Are you not pushing the talk? What's going on there?
Hello?
There, you're back again.
Yeah, I guess I just got to press it really hard after a while. No, man, sorry about that. What I was saying
fine.
was, yeah, it could be either the deleted scene or like Kyle was saying, something just to rile up Tony Jr. Duke Jr. over there to get him to take the fight.
Yeah, no, that's good. No, I like that. There could have been something in the script or written, yeah. But there's a lot of us assume as audience we're a little confused how these guys are so buddy after the events of Creed 1. They seem to be much more closer now. They're trying to almost like reestablish the same relationship that Apollo and Tony Sr. had. We're seeing it again with the sons, but I don't quite buy it the way I bought it with the original characters from the series. Yeah. All right, let's keep watching.
Our history.
Если я тебе говорю, быстрее бежать, беги быстрее.
Of course, that's now we're back to Drago Sr. saying, when I tell you to run faster, just like you said, Louise. He was on his tail to encourage his son to run faster, threatening to run him over. Can you imagine? This is your kid, man. Can you imagine that's your training style? Scaring your kid. But we're showing how important it is, like for Yvonne, that his son also corrects their history. That's probably what we're led to believe, that their history has to be rewritten. That the failed father will live through the success of his son.
Well, that's you hit the nail on the head, Ryan. That's exactly it. Like if there's a history to be rewritten, it's that. And I when he said like running faster and being pushed, there's a scene in Rocky 4 when Drago's on a treadmill, and that guy, I don't know who it is. He was the one who did the press conference, the so-called Russian guy.
Yeah.
Which I have it on good authority is definitely not Russian and doesn't speak any Russian. He kept telling the scientists to increase the incline.
Yeah.
And they were pushing him, and it did it to like he was running almost like straight up. And this is the scene, of course, where Sly's also going up the mountain. And so like that mentality of being pushed like that, he's now doing that to his son too.
That's a great moment in Rocky 4 when Drago's running up that treadmill and he quits. Obviously running at an incline that you and I would have landed on our chins. And that breathing that Dolph does, he's so winded. I don't know why, but it's a very effective part of the montage when Drago is so winded he can't continue. But then of course Rocky continues up the mountain. Great moment.
Honestly, to me, that sounded almost like post-orgasm type of like his relief after that.
Whatever he hits, he destroys.
He destroys.
He's pushed it. All right.
That refractory period on steroids is no joke, man.
All right.
Oh.
By the way, Dolph badass in that scene, man.
Say that again.
Sorry, but just Dolph is so badass in this movie. Just like his mannerisms, man. Dolph is just so awesome in this.
Oh yeah. Speak to Dolph. Dolph was great in this movie. Every time he's on screen, you're watching him, and it's just so great to see him on the big screen. Great to see him do this character again, and he looks great. I hope to look that good at his age. I think in this movie he's probably a few years ago. I think he's between 60 and 63. I'm not too sure exactly. Maybe 58 to 60.
Yeah, I think he was born in the 60s. Pretty sure he's born in the 60s. So he's
close to 60.
He's very late 50s.
Late 50s.
Yeah, he's. Okay, can I make a few comments just about what we're seeing here?
No, don't comment. Don't comment on the movie that we're watching on a podcast about Creed 2. Don't do that.
I'm sorry, Ron.
Has it been that long? Can we talk about the movie? Yeah, by all means.
By all means. Couple things. One, I'm gonna look this up because I know this has to be here, but I'd like to know where they filmed this because I'm pretty sure it's not Ukraine. No. But they had to find like a dilapidated city. I could see them. I just love Louise right now.
We got Louise in the background smoking crack. What's going on? Are you all right? Speaking about the dilapidated, Louise is like, hey, they filmed at my location. They filmed at my local hood. What are you talking about?
I've been figuring out, the last 20 minutes how how to do it. It's like, man, there's no way I can get away with this. I was like, oh,
Well,
you made a promise to your patrons, so I guess I'm.
Hey,
Yeah, I drink on the podcast, but I can't do it stoned. Like I think I said this before. I've done one podcast stoned, and like Ryan had to keep like reminding me to talk because I was just like just zeroed in. But anyway, I could see them like.
I think there was a time. Speaking of, there was one that I think Katie was drunk. There was an episode we did, and it was I forget which episode it was, but it was during Creed 2. I think it was like episode 6 or 7. Go back and check it out. But it wasn't until I went to editing. I was like, I think Katie's drunk as I was editing. Does anyone remember that episode?
No, I had to. She carried herself well, I guess. Yeah. She wasn't.
The thing is, if you're listening to the audio, you may not be able to tell, but on the video, you can see her. And I'm used to, watching all the videos, so I can tell. Like, oh yeah, I think Katie's a little toasty right now. I like it.
Yeah, I love it. That's awesome. Sorry, go ahead. Now, ironically, after Kyle says, "Can I talk about the movie?" We've done nothing but talk about the movie. Okay, go ahead there, Kyle.
Okay, so I'm curious where they filmed this. Like, I'm wondering if they went to like Detroit or somewhere that has like a lot of like urban blight or something like that. And I'm like, hey, let's film some scenes here. So like that, if I forget to do it, I'm sure one of the listeners will look like, or like that guy. Who's the guy who like is really good with like the Google Maps and stuff, and like knows where everything's filmed?
Branco. He knows about that stuff.
Yeah, I bet he'd be able to find out. Because I'm assuming this is filmed in the U.S., even though they had to make it look like post-Soviet decay or whatever. And then one thing I couldn't help but notice. Victor Drago is dressed very similarly to like Rocky and Rocky 1. Like he has like the gray sweatsuit and then the beanie on his head like that. Like
catches flies.
I don't know. I don't know if that was intentional or if they just happened to make it look like that. But it's like, okay, well, he's the new guy who's like training in the ghetto and like,
no good catch.
Trying to get his long shot at the. I wonder if that's there to like remind the audience or something.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good catch. So it says here, now this I think is Tony talking, saying about Victor, that his record might be light, but believe me, is how it starts.
He light, but believe me, he ain't no undercard.
He ain't no undercard, no.
So you gotta be with me. I'm right here. We'll see.
How dare you walk from me?
So I'm just going to turn on the music so it doesn't get totally blocked on YouTube here. So Tony Jr. has said, okay, let's start training. So now we saw Victor Drago's training, which is going back. But now we're going back and forth between Victor and Adonis in their training. And there's that great sequence here of Victor doing that rope exercise. You guys want to speak to that? That's an amazing little sequence there.
Yeah, I could never ever do that in my life.
No.
What's the point of it? Like he does, like I guess it's like a coordination and timing thing. Like I understand the rope thing where you do that for like extended duration. I understand push-ups, but it's like he does this thing where he does like push-ups on his knuckle, which is like for him should be easy. It's a push-up, two-handed push-up, and then midair he flicks the rope. So I guess you have to have like quickness. Like I guess that helps train your quickness and like reflexes and timing or something like that.
I know. So also just think it's
in your core.
It's a something just for the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it looks incredibly impressive. Like I remember my wife's not a big Rocky person, but she saw that she was like, "Wow, that's really cool."
So we got Adonis underwater punching. Any thoughts on that little?
That's a throwback to Muhammad Ali. I'm sure other fighters do that too, but Muhammad Ali was really known for going underwater and throwing punches, like to help improve his speed.
Yeah. Okay. Good call. Yeah, and it's also good for the film. Looks good on film. Yeah. Go ahead there, Luis.
Just a random thing. The water training. I don't think you can do it anymore. There's an MMA guy named BJ Penn who used to be able to jump out of the pool, like onto like the ledge of the pool.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Yeah. He was a prodigy. A prodigy. He was phenomenal. I mean, his prime was years ago, but yeah, that's what That and Muhammad Ali, like he says, what I think of when I see like water training.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't know that about Muhammad Ali. Okay, so now he's in an interview and he's asked a question, by an interviewer about his thoughts on this, why he accepted this fight. So we'll hear that.
Creed versus Drago. That means something. Did that factor into your decision to take this fight?
I mean, you can't say Creed without Drago, right? This is what y'all want. It's what everyone wants.
Also can't help but to notice who won't be in your corner this time around.
Rocky's taking some family time. But Duke's got me.
Okay, hold
His
on,
father
hold
taught
on.
my father everything he...
Yeah, go ahead.
Couple things. There was a typo in
In the captions?
those captions.
Oh, there might have been. Yeah, this is the Blu-ray captions, but yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. But I got really almost kind of, I never noticed it till now, insulted when he said you can't say Creed without
Yes,
Drago.
beat me to it. Go ahead. Tell me why.
Like, I understand that people would think of that because that is what got Creed dead. But Creed had like a long and illustrious career and was well known like outside the ring too,
Yeah.
not just a champion. And so to say that like you can't say Creed without Drago, like that is insane. Like you can't say Creed without Rocky more than you can't say Creed without Drago.
Agreed. Yeah, but speaking a little bit to the audience of the movies, this is another like a little bit of a that's all what you all want to see, isn't it? So I think there's a little bit of Sly writing this, a little bit of Sly writing like, don't you guys want to see more Drago? You want to see more of the Rocky storyline? That's kind of how I see it too, though. So I think I agree within the movie world, or sort of within the world or the universe of Rocky, that statement doesn't make sense. But I think it kind of makes sense from Sly, who wrote Creed 2, saying, is that what people want to see? More Drago and Rocky? Or like more Drago? Yeah. So, or more avenging of Drago? Because I will admit, when they announced Creed 2, I was nervous. But then when I heard Drago was coming back, I was like, okay, I'm more excited about Creed 2 than I was about Creed 1.
Yeah, I was excited to see Dolph Lundgren on film actually saying something. Like I was like, holy shit, this is gonna be cool. Like, and I saw that they were gonna meet in the diner there. I'm like, I could not wait to see that scene.
I don't like that little line either that Adonis says, because to me, Creed in the Rocky universe is synonymous with like the greatest boxer, not Drago. I think it's, what happened is an unfortunate circumstance, but I think when you think of Creed, you think, okay, he is like the number one boxer in the Rocky universe. That's my, I don't know if I'm wrong on that. That's my.
He is. He's the best. He's the best. Nobody better. Perfect fighter. Also, Adonis is kind of throwing Rocky under the bus here by saying that, well, Duke's got, Rocky's not my corner, but Duke's got me. His father taught my father everything he knows. So it's kind of like, oof, poor Rocky has to hear that.
Yeah, although it's like that does put Creed in an awkward position too, because it's like telling the truth, it would be pretty difficult. Right. And so it's like, I don't know what I'd say. Like, yeah. I might say some bullshit like that too, to be honest.
He doesn't want to say Rocky doesn't think I can beat him.
Or like Rocky has a lot of regret about throwing the towel in the Creed fight, and just doesn't want anything to do with this. Like, I wouldn't want to speak for Rocky there either. Like, otherwise, I might, like, if I wouldn't say some excuse like family reasons, it's just like Rocky, he has like personal reasons he doesn't want to do it, and just leave it at that. And I'm choosing to keep those like private.
No, it's good. Good points.
Technique, speed. I'm confident he'll have me ready for this fight.
And knowing what happened between your father and Drago, you must have some worry.
What would I be afraid of?
Who wanna meet they maker?
I'm a fighter. This is what I do, right?
Who wanna meet they savior?
That's who I am.
Who wanna see my greatness? Best believe I pay per view. Best.
All right. So what does he have to be afraid of? Well, the guy that he's fighting is a beast, and he's also a fighter. That's what he do.
Perhaps I'm reading too much into this. There's a bit of dialogue where he says, I'm confident he'll have me ready for the fight. So I wonder if that's foreshadowing. Like, well, the Duke's done his job, but I'm not personally ready yet.
Yeah, it's almost like he's putting the onus on his trainer. Oh, he knows everything he needs to know because Senior taught Tony Junior, and I'm in good hands, and I should be okay, right? I'm gonna win this fight, right? Because I'm a fighter, right? Yeah, you can tell he's lacking the confidence in the eye of the tiger for sure. All right, Kyle, you got time just to do the weigh-in scene? Because I want me, you, and Katie to do the fight itself afterwards. You good for that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So now the next sequence is the weigh-in. They're going to the weigh-in here. I'll just mute the music a little bit because of it's the music that gets you blocked on YouTube. So Creed's up there. He's flexing. He's looking good. They both look great. I mean, they're both phenomenal looking guys. They're built. So here they are staring off at each other. So a little sequence there of Adonis looking at his father's quote-unquote killer right in the eyes. They're both giving each other a look down. Thoughts on that?
This reminds me a lot of the first Rocky Clubber Lang fight, where he was having a problem maintaining eye contact during like when they meet up in the center of the ring. And this is when Clubber says "dead meat" at the end, and then you see, of course, the second fight with Rocky, he maintains perfect eye contact, and then says "go for it," like he is a totally different mentality. And here you see, like I think Michael B does a great job. You could see in his eyes there's some vulnerability there. And I can understand that. Meeting the guy who killed your dad, like, yeah. But, like, he should have been prepared for this. He knew Drago was going to be there. And if I were him, I'd be like, I'm going to be staring at my opponent, Victor, like, hard. Like, you do not want to break eye contact. You don't want to show any sign of weakness. And he clearly has here.
Creed.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love Dolph, man. I can't wait. I already know what he's gonna say. I just love this, like, just Dolph in this, man. He's just bad. I can say he's just badass, dude. Like, what a line that he's gonna give to him, you know?
All right, let's hear it.
You're much smaller than your father.
So he said you're much smaller than your father. And notice that he was looking down as well. Sorry.
Yeah, there's like a. That was like a for Dolph, for Ivan Drago. That's some good psychological warfare there, yes, right?
Yeah.
No guy wants to be called small in any way.
No, not in any way, shape, or form. Yeah.
It's like he just shit on him, man. Like, in multiple ways. One, obviously, like the dad thing, but then it's like, yeah, not only did I kill your dad 40 years ago, but you're probably gonna die too. Like, if I kill your dad, my son fucking essentially, right? So.
And it also is symbolic of the fact that Adonis can't live up to his father, right? Like he's not the same kind of champion his father was, at least not yet. He has that chip on his shoulder about his dad and being compared to his dad, and Ivan Drago saying, "Oh, you're much smaller than your dad." That's like a that's like a microcosm of everything Adonis has been feeling too. So man, that was the best possible dig he could have taken at him. I think. I don't think he could have said anything worse than that.
Agreed. So Adonis says, "Don't talk about my pop." It gives Drago Senior a push.
Hey, we can do this right here.
Notice that Victor pushed Adonis like 8 feet with almost no effort.
Yep. And he says, "Let's do this right now, bro." Okay, it doesn't work that way. My ring's outside.
You can't help me no more. You hear me? You can't hide behind that ring. You stand there. All you doing is talking, homie. Your pops can't protect you, you feel me? Don't talk about my father. I'm turning your back on me. You in my house, homie.
All right. So that's where we're going to stop it. You're in my house, homie. Oh, Adonis, we're only halfway through the film. You're not going to win. But we'll talk about that fight in the next episode. It'll be worth talking about the next episode. But any final thoughts on the scenes we just saw there, Louise?
Oh no, man! Just once again, just Ivan Drago, man. To me, doesn't say much, but doesn't need to. Just phenomenal job by him, man. And everybody else does great too. But I think he just brings it to this film.
I thought for like an overall review of what we did, I think the writing was very weak. Like we had a lot of problems with a lot of the dialogue there. I think where the movie kind of made up for that is I really liked the editing and the film presentation, especially the training scene for Victor. I thought that was great. I thought the interaction between him and his dad was great, and I thought the weigh-in scene was really good too. So that to me, that kind of made up for some of the shakier dialogue with Adonis before. So, yeah, it's just everyone knows he's going to lose, right? Of course, he can't win this early in the fight. It's a foregone conclusion. To me, this is just almost like a soft reboot, more of Rocky 3 than Rocky 4.
Good point. Yeah, great point by everyone. I don't have anything really else additional to add. So I'll just close out by saying welcome back, everyone, to the show, and thank you for listening and being supportive of the show, especially for those who have stuck around since the beginning, those who've joined us in recent days or even weeks since I've been gone. Again, we've got some new listeners to the show who have caught up and waiting for this new episode. We welcome everyone, and just check the show description notes again to see where you can contact us, how you can contact us, give your thoughts or emails. We'll read those in the next episode, and please join our live discussions, because my intention is to go live in Discord every time we record. So if you want to join the discussion via text in the live discussion, or if you say something really smart and you think you can handle yourself, we'll maybe bring you on for a couple of minutes to share your thoughts live like Louise did today. So just don't do drugs. Any closing thoughts there before we head out? If not, Louise, did you want to take us out there, brother?
It'd be my honor, sir. Ding, ding.
There you